Hello everyone, in this video you'll dive into 8 focused lessons designed to push your English abilities in just 3 hours. Whether you're brushing up on grammar, expanding your vocabulary, or fine-tuning your pronunciation, get ready to see how much you can achieve in a short time. Let's get started and challenge your English skills together. Affable. Affable. Meaning friendly, good-natured, or easy to talk to. Friendly, good-natured, or easy to talk to. He was an affable host who made everyone feel at home. He was an affable host who made everyone feel at home. Brisk. Brisk. Meaning active, fast, and energetic. Active, fast, and energetic. They went for a brisk walk in the park. They went for a brisk walk in the park. Comprehensive. Comprehensive. Meaning complete and including all or nearly all elements or aspects. Complete and including all or nearly all elements or aspects. The report provided a comprehensive overview of the situation. The report provided a comprehensive overview of the situation. Diligent. Diligent. Meaning having or showing care and conscientiousness in one's work or duties. Having or showing care and conscientiousness in one's work or duties. She was a diligent student, always completing her assignments on time. She was a diligent student, always completing her assignments on time. Elicit. Elicit. Meaning to draw out a response, answer, or fact from someone. To draw out a response, answer, or fact from someone. The joke managed to elicit laughter from the audience. The joke managed to elicit laughter from the audience. Facilitate. Facilitate. Meaning to make an action or process easy or easier. To make an action or process easy or easier. The new software will facilitate the project management. The new software will facilitate the project management. Gracious. Gracious. Meaning courteous, kind, and pleasant. Courteous, kind, and pleasant. She was gracious in defeat and congratulated the winner. She was gracious in defeat and congratulated the winner. Humorous. Humorous. Meaning funny or amusing, causing laughter. Funny or amusing, causing laughter. His humorous anecdotes always lighten the mood at gatherings. His humorous anecdotes always lighten the mood at gatherings. Implement. Implement. Meaning to put a decision, plan, agreement, etc. into effect. To put a decision, plan, agreement, etc. into effect. The company decided to implement new procedures for quality control. The company decided to implement new procedures for quality control. Justify. Justify. Meaning, to show or prove to be right or reasonable. To show or prove to be right or reasonable. He tried to justify his actions by explaining the circumstances. He tried to justify his actions by explaining the circumstances. Keen. Keen. Meaning, having or showing eagerness or enthusiasm. Having or showing eagerness or enthusiasm. She was keen to start her new job. She was keen to start her new job. Legitimate. Legitimate. Meaning, conforming to the law or to rules. Conforming to the law or to rules. The business had legitimate concerns about the new regulations. The business had legitimate concerns about the new regulations. Magnify. Magnify. Meaning, to make something appear larger than it is, especially with a lens or microscope. To make something appear larger than it is, especially with a lens or microscope. The glass will magnify the small text. The glass will magnify the small text. Navigate. Navigate. Meaning, to plan and direct the course of a journey. To plan and direct the course of a journey. He had to navigate through a complex set of rules to complete the application. He had to navigate through a complex set of rules to complete the application. Optimize. Optimize. Meaning, to make the best or most effective use of a situation or resource. To make the best or most effective use of a situation or resource. We need to optimize our use of the available resources. We need to optimize our use of the available resources. Ponder. Ponder. Meaning, to think about something carefully, especially before making a decision. To think about something carefully, especially before making a decision. She took a moment to ponder the implications of the decision. She took a moment to ponder the implications of the decision. Qualify. Qualify. Meaning, to be entitled to a particular benefit or privilege by fulfilling a necessary condition. To be entitled to a particular benefit or privilege by fulfilling a necessary condition. She didn't qualify for the scholarship due to her grades. She didn't qualify for the scholarship due to her grades. Rectify. Rectify. Meaning, to put something right, correct. To put something right, correct. The engineers worked hard to rectify the problem. The engineers worked hard to rectify the problem. Scrutinize. Scrutinize. Meaning, to examine or inspect closely and thoroughly. To examine or inspect closely and thoroughly. Don't forget to scrutinize the details of the proposal before making a decision. Don't forget to scrutinize the details of the proposal before making a decision. Tolerate. Tolerate. Meaning, to allow the existence, occurrence, or practice of something without interference. To allow the existence, occurrence, or practice of something without interference. The school does not tolerate bullying of any kind. The school does not tolerate bullying of any kind. Utilize. Utilize. Meaning, to make practical and effective use of something. To make practical and effective use of something. We need to utilize all available resources to complete the project on time. We need to utilize all available resources to complete the project on time. Verify. Verify. Meaning, to make sure or demonstrate that something is true, accurate, or justified. To make sure or demonstrate that something is true, accurate, or justified. Can you verify the accuracy of these figures? Can you verify the accuracy of these figures? Warrant. Warrant. Meaning, to justify or necessitate a certain course of action. To justify or necessitate a certain course of action. The situation does not warrant such a drastic measure. The situation does not warrant such a drastic measure. Yield. Yield. Meaning, to produce or provide a natural, agricultural, or industrial product. To produce or provide a natural, agricultural, or industrial product. The project is expected to yield positive results. The project is expected to yield positive results. Zealous. Zealous. Meaning, showing great energy or enthusiasm in pursuit of a cause or object. Showing great energy or enthusiasm in pursuit of a cause or objective. The zealous campaigner worked tirelessly for her cause. The zealous campaigner worked tirelessly for her cause. Accommodate. Accommodate. Meaning, to provide lodging or sufficient space for. To provide lodging or sufficient space for. The hotel can accommodate up to 500 guests. The hotel can accommodate up to 500 guests. Bolster. Bolster. Meaning, to support or strengthen. To support or strengthen. She used statistics to bolster her argument. She used statistics to bolster her argument. Collaborate. Collaborate. Meaning, to work jointly on an activity or project. To work jointly on an activity or project. The two companies agreed to collaborate on the new product. The two companies agreed to collaborate on the new product. Discern. Discern. Meaning, to perceive or recognize something. To perceive or recognize something. She could discern the difference between the original and the copy. She could discern the difference between the original and the copy. Engage. Engage. Meaning to occupy, attract, or involve someone's interest or attention. To occupy, attract, or involve someone's interest or attention. The teacher tried to engage the students with an interesting lesson. The teacher tried to engage the students with an interesting lesson. Fluctuate. Fluctuate. Meaning to rise and fall irregularly in number or amount. To rise and fall irregularly in number or amount. The prices of commodities can fluctuate dramatically. The prices of commodities can fluctuate dramatically. Generate. Generate. Meaning to produce or create. To produce or create. The new project is expected to generate significant revenue. The new project is expected to generate significant revenue. Hinder. Hinder. Meaning to create difficulties for someone or something, resulting in delay or obstruction. To create difficulties for someone or something, resulting in delay or obstruction. The heavy traffic will hinder our progress. The heavy traffic will hinder our progress. Incorporate. Incorporate. Meaning to take in or include as part of a whole. To take in or include as part of a whole. The new design will incorporate several innovative features. The new design will incorporate several innovative features. Juvenile. Juvenile. Meaning referring to young people, especially children. Referring to young people, especially children. The playground is designed to accommodate both juvenile and adult users. The playground is designed to accommodate both juvenile and adult users. Knit. Knit. Meaning to unite or cause to unite. To unite or cause to unite. The community was closely knit together by shared experiences. The community was closely knit together by shared experiences. Leverage. Leverage. Meaning to use something to maximum advantage. To use something to maximum advantage. We can leverage our existing network to expand the business. We can leverage our existing network to expand the business. Mitigate. Mitigate. Meaning to make less severe, serious, or painful. To make less severe, serious, or painful. The measures were designed to mitigate the effects of the crisis. The measures were designed to mitigate the effects of the crisis. Negotiate. Negotiate. Meaning to try to reach an agreement or compromise by discussion. To try to reach an agreement or compromise by discussion. They had to negotiate a new contract with the supplier. They had to negotiate a new contract with the supplier. Overcome. Overcome. Meaning To succeed in dealing with a problem or difficulty. To succeed in dealing with a problem or difficulty. She managed to overcome all the obstacles in her way. She managed to overcome all the obstacles in her way. Procrastinate. Procrastinate. Meaning, to delay or postpone action, put off doing something. To delay or postpone action, put off doing something. He tends to procrastinate when it comes to doing his homework. He tends to procrastinate when it comes to doing his homework. Quantify. Quantify. Meaning, to express or measure the quantity of. To express or measure the quantity of. It's difficult to quantify the impact of the new policy. It's difficult to quantify the impact of the new policy. Reiterate. Reiterate. Meaning, to say something again or a number of times, typically for emphasis or clarity. To say something again or a number of times, typically for emphasis or clarity. Allow me to reiterate the main points of the presentation for clarity. Allow me to reiterate the main points of the presentation for clarity. Sustain. Sustain. Meaning, to strengthen or support physically or mentally. To strengthen or support physically or mentally. The charity aims to sustain its efforts through regular donations. The charity aims to sustain its efforts through regular donations. Thrive. Thrive. Meaning, to grow or develop well or vigorously. To grow or develop well or vigorously. The small business began to thrive after implementing new marketing strategies. The small business began to thrive after implementing new marketing strategies. Undermine. Undermine. Meaning, to lessen the effectiveness, power, or ability of someone or something. To lessen the effectiveness, power, or ability of someone or something. His actions were calculated to undermine her authority. His actions were calculated to undermine her authority. Validate. Validate. Meaning, to check or prove the validity or accuracy of something. To check or prove the validity or accuracy of something. The study aims to validate the findings of previous research. The study aims to validate the findings of previous research. Withstand. Withstand. Meaning, to remain undamaged or unaffected by. Resist. To remain undamaged or unaffected by. Resist. The building was designed to withstand earthquakes. The building was designed to withstand earthquakes. Xenophile. Xenophile. Meaning, someone who is attracted to foreign peoples, cultures, or customs. Someone who is attracted to foreign peoples, cultures, or customs. As a xenophile, she loved travelling to new countries and learning about different cultures. As a xenophile, she loved travelling to new countries and learning about different cultures. Yearn. Yearn. Meaning: to have an intense feeling of longing for something, typically something that one has lost or been separated from. To have an intense feeling of longing for something, typically something that one has lost or been separated from. She needs to yearn for something greater than herself to feel alive again. She needs to yearn for something greater than herself to feel alive again. Could get is a modal verb construction that combines could, the past tense of can, which is also used as a modal verb to indicate possibility, permission, or ability, with the base verb get. Here are a few ways could get is typically used in English. Possibility, indicating something that might happen. Example: it could get very cold tonight. Ability, describing what someone was able to obtain or achieve in the past. Example: when I was young, I could get up early without any trouble. Permission, suggesting that it was or is permissible to obtain something. Example: he said we could get a snack from the kitchen. Here are 50 example sentences using could get. If we hurry, we could get there before it starts raining. If we hurry, we could get there before it starts raining. She could get the job if she applies soon. She could get the job if she applies soon. You could get sick if you don't wear a coat. You could get sick if you don't wear a coat. They could get lost in the forest without a map. They could get lost in the forest without a map. We could get a better view from the balcony. We could get a better view from the balcony. I could get a ride with my neighbour. I could get a ride with my neighbour. You could get a discount if you buy in bulk. You could get a discount if you buy in bulk. He could get promoted if he works hard. He could get promoted if he works hard. She could get angry if you tell her the truth. She could get angry if you tell her the truth. They could get injured playing that sport. They could get injured playing that sport. We could get dinner after the movie. We could get dinner after the movie. I could get more information from the website. I could get more information from the website. You could get an A if you study more. You could get an A if you study more. He could get the flu from his classmates. He could get the flu from his classmates. She could get more customers with better advertising. She could get more customers with better advertising. They could get fined for parking illegally. They could get fined for parking illegally. We could get help from a professional. We could get help from a professional. I could get there faster by bike. I could get there faster by bike. You could get a better deal online. You could get a better deal online. He could get bored during the lecture. He could get bored during the lecture. She could get confused with too many instructions. She could get confused with too many instructions. They could get trapped in the snowstorm. They could get trapped in the snowstorm. We could get a refund if we're not satisfied. We could get a refund if we're not satisfied. I could get inspired by a good book. I could get inspired by a good book. You could get tired if you don't rest. You could get tired if you don't rest. He could get hurt climbing that tree. He could get hurt climbing that tree. She could get surprised by the party. She could get surprised by the party. They could get delayed by traffic. They could get delayed by traffic. We could get a dog from the shelter. We could get a dog from the shelter. I could get frustrated with this puzzle. I could get frustrated with this puzzle. You could get more likes on your post with a better photo. You could get more likes on your post with a better photo. He could get homesick while travelling. He could get homesick while travelling. She could get offended by that comment. She could get offended by that comment. They could get a grant for their research. They could get a grant for their research. We could get tickets to the concert. We could get tickets to the concert. I could get better results with a tutor. I could get better results with a tutor. You could get a stain on your shirt. You could get a stain on your shirt. He could get recognized for his work. He could get recognized for his work. She could get a scholarship for her grades. She could get a scholarship for her grades. They could get married next year. They could get married next year. We could get stuck in traffic. We could get stuck in traffic. I could get upset over small things. I could get upset over small things. You could get promoted quickly in this company. You could get promoted quickly in this company. He could get injured playing football. He could get injured playing football. She could get a loan for her business. She could get a loan for her business. They could get a new house soon. They could get a new house soon. We could get a surprise visit from friends. We could get a surprise visit from friends. I could get access to the VIP section. I could get access to the VIP section. You could get better at cooking with practice. You could get better at cooking with practice. He could get a better offer from another company. He could get a better offer from another company. Should get is a modal verb construction that combines should with the base verb get. Should is used to give advice, make recommendations, express expectations, or suggest that something is desirable or necessary. Advice, suggesting a course of action. Example, you should get more sleep. Recommendation, proposing something as beneficial. Example, he should get a flu shot. Expectation, indicating what is anticipated or required. Example, students should get their assignments in on time. Here are 50 example sentences using should get. You should get your eyes checked regularly. You should get your eyes checked regularly. She should get a promotion for her hard work. She should get a promotion for her hard work. They should get to the airport early. They should get to the airport early. He should get more exercise. He should get more exercise. You should get a second opinion from another doctor. You should get a second opinion from another doctor. We should get a bigger car for the family. We should get a bigger car for the family. She should get her driver's license soon. She should get her driver's license soon. They should get more practice before the game. They should get more practice before the game. You should get vaccinated before travelling. You should get vaccinated before travelling. He should get a haircut. He should get a haircut. She should get some rest. She should get some rest. They should get involved in community service. They should get involved in community service. We should get a new coffee machine. We should get a new coffee machine. You should get a tutor for algebra. You should get a tutor for algebra. He should get his car serviced. He should get his car serviced. She should get her own bank account. She should get her own bank account. They should get an accountant for their business. They should get an accountant for their business. We should get tickets in advance. We should get tickets in advance. You should get a warranty for that appliance. You should get a warranty for that appliance. He should get a hobby. He should get a hobby. She should get professional help. She should get professional help. They should get more sleep. They should get more sleep. We should get insurance for the house. We should get insurance for the house. You should get a flu shot every year. You should get a flu shot every year. He should get a passport. He should get a passport. She should get a new pair of glasses. She should get a new pair of glasses. They should get their own place. They should get their own place. We should get together more often. We should get together more often. You should get your teeth cleaned regularly. You should get your teeth cleaned regularly. He should get a new phone. He should get a new phone. She should get some fresh air. She should get some fresh air. They should get an education. They should get an education. We should get the latest software update. We should get the latest software update. You should get a healthier diet. You should get a healthier diet. He should get a financial advisor. He should get a financial advisor. She should get more sunlight. She should get more sunlight. They should get a better job. They should get a better job. We should get a pet. We should get a pet. You should get your hearing checked. You should get your hearing checked. He should get a lawyer. He should get a lawyer. She should get more creative with her cooking. She should get more creative with her cooking. They should get an energy-efficient car. They should get an energy-efficient car. We should get a new roof. We should get a new roof. You should get regular checkups. You should get regular checkups. He should get a second chance. He should get a second chance. She should get better grades. She should get better grades. They should get a new computer. They should get a new computer. We should get a refund. We should get a refund. You should get a better internet plan. You should get a better internet plan. He should get more time off work. He should get more time off work. Would get is a modal verb construction combining would with the base verb get. Would is used to indicate a conditional situation, a habitual action in the past, or a polite request or offer. Conditional situations, describing what might happen under certain conditions. Example: if I had more money, I would get a new car. Hypothetical situations, describing an imagined scenario or potential outcome. Example: if she studied harder, she would get better grades. Habitual actions in the past, talking about repeated actions or routines in the past. Example: when I was a child, we would get ice cream every Sunday. Here are 50 example sentences using would get. If I had the chance, I would get a degree in computer science. If I had the chance, I would get a degree in computer science. She would get upset if you told her the truth. She would get upset if you told her the truth. They would get more customers if they lowered their prices. They would get more customers if they lowered their prices. We would get a refund if the product was defective. We would get a refund if the product was defective. He would get a promotion if he worked harder. He would get a promotion if he worked harder. I would get a new laptop if I could afford it. I would get a new laptop if I could afford it. You would get better results if you followed the instructions. You would get better results if you followed the instructions. They would get lost without a GPS. They would get lost without a GPS. She would get the job if she applied. She would get the job if she applied. We would get to the party on time if we left now. We would get to the party on time if we left now. He would get a bonus if he met his sales targets. He would get a bonus if he met his sales targets. I would get sick if I ate that food. I would get sick if I ate that food. You would get more out of the course if you attended every class. You would get more out of the course if you attended every class. They would get angry if you cancelled the meeting. They would get angry if you cancelled the meeting. She would get tired if she worked late. She would get tired if she worked late. We would get along better if we communicated more. We would get along better if we communicated more. He would get in trouble if he broke the rules. He would get in trouble if he broke the rules. I would get frustrated if my computer crashed. I would get frustrated if my computer crashed. You would get a headache if you didn't drink enough water. You would get a headache if you didn't drink enough water. They would get bored if the lecture was too long. They would get bored if the lecture was too long. She would get scared if she watched a horror movie. She would get scared if she watched a horror movie. We would get the best seats if we booked early. We would get the best seats if we booked early. He would get sunburned if he didn't use sunscreen. He would get sunburned if he didn't use sunscreen. I would get more exercise if I joined a gym. I would get more exercise if I joined a gym. You would get a cold if you went out in the rain. You would get a cold if you went out in the rain. They would get confused if the instructions weren't clear. They would get confused if the instructions weren't clear. She would get better grades if she studied more. She would get better grades if she studied more. We would get a better view if we stood closer. We would get a better view if we stood closer. He would get home earlier if he took the train. He would get home earlier if he took the train. I would get more sleep if I went to bed earlier. I would get more sleep if I went to bed earlier. You would get stronger if you lifted weights regularly. You would get stronger if you lifted weights regularly. They would get happier if they spent more time together. They would get happier if they spent more time together. She would get a tan if she spent time in the sun. She would get a tan if she spent time in the sun. We would get richer if we invested wisely. We would get richer if we invested wisely. He would get thinner if he cut out junk food. He would get thinner if he cut out junk food. I would get better at cooking if I practiced more. I would get better at cooking if I practiced more. You would get smarter if you read more books. You would get smarter if you read more books. They would get healthier if they ate more vegetables. They would get healthier if they ate more vegetables. She would get more respect if she was more assertive. She would get more respect if she was more assertive. We would get more work done if we stayed focused. We would get more work done if we stayed focused. He would get more friends if he was more outgoing. He would get more friends if he was more outgoing. I would get a new car if I saved enough money. I would get a new car if I saved enough money. You would get more attention if you dressed up. You would get more attention if you dressed up. They would get the contract if they made a better offer. They would get the contract if they made a better offer. She would get to school on time if she woke up earlier. She would get to school on time if she woke up earlier. We would get more support if we explained our plan clearly. We would get more support if we explained our plan clearly. He would get more clients if he advertised more. He would get more clients if he advertised more. I would get better results if I tried a different approach. I would get better results if I tried a different approach. You would get more enjoyment out of life if you relaxed more. You would get more enjoyment out of life if you relaxed more. They would get a better deal if they negotiated. They would get a better deal if they negotiated. Run out. Run out. Meaning, to exhaust the supply of something, especially time. To exhaust the supply of something, especially time. We're about to run out of time. The meeting is almost over. We're about to run out of time. The meeting is almost over. Catch up on. Catch up on. Meaning, to get up to date with something, often after a period of neglect. To get up to date with something, often after a period of neglect. I need to catch up on my emails. I've been away for a week. I need to catch up on my emails. I've been away for a week. Tick away. Tick away. Meaning, to pass slowly, often used for time. To pass slowly, often used for time. Time continued to tick away as they waited anxiously for the test results. Time continued to tick away as they waited anxiously for the test results. Look forward to. Look forward to. Meaning, to anticipate or eagerly await something in the future. To anticipate or eagerly await something in the future. I look forward to meeting you at the conference next week. I look forward to meeting you at the conference next week. Hold off. Hold off. Meaning, to delay or postpone something. To delay or postpone something. Let's hold off on the decision until we have more information. Let's hold off on the decision until we have more information. Bring forward. Bring forward. Meaning, to reschedule or move an event to an earlier time. To reschedule or move an event to an earlier time. Let's bring forward the meeting to accommodate everyone's availability. Let's bring forward the meeting to accommodate everyone's availability. Set aside. Set aside. Meaning, to allocate or reserve time for a specific purpose. To allocate or reserve time for a specific purpose. I'll set aside an hour each day for exercise. I'll set aside an hour each day for exercise. Free up. Free up. Meaning, to make time available by cancelling or rearranging plans. To make time available by cancelling or rearranging plans. I'll try to free up some time for a quick meeting. I'll try to free up some time for a quick meeting. Hang on. Hang on. Meaning, to wait for a short period. To wait for a short period. Hang on, I'll be with you in just a moment. Hang on, I'll be with you in just a moment. Push back. Push back. Meaning, to postpone or delay a scheduled event. To postpone or delay a scheduled event. We had to push back the deadline for the project due to unforeseen challenges. We had to push back the deadline for the project due to unforeseen challenges. Make up for. Make up for. Meaning, to compensate for lost time or to make amends. To compensate for lost time or to make amends. I'll work extra hours to make up for the time I took off last week. I'll work extra hours to make up for the time I took off last week. Take up. Take up. Meaning, to use or occupy time. To use or occupy time. Learning a new hobby can take up a significant amount of time. Learning a new hobby can take up a significant amount of time. Hold up. Hold up. Meaning, to cause a delay or slow down. To cause a delay or slow down. Traffic accidents can hold up your commute. Traffic accidents can hold up your commute. Wind down. Wind down. Meaning, to relax or reduce activity, often before bedtime. to relax or reduce activity, often before bedtime. I like to wind down with a good book before going to sleep. I like to wind down with a good book before going to sleep. Set back. Set back. Meaning, to delay progress or schedule. To delay progress or schedule. The unexpected issue set back the project by a few days. The unexpected issue set back the project by a few days. Speed up. Speed up. Meaning, to increase the pace or rate. To increase the pace or rate. We need to speed up production to meet the deadline. We need to speed up production to meet the deadline. Pass by. Pass by. Meaning, to elapse or go by, often used for time. To elapse or go by, often used for time. The days seemed to pass by quickly during the holiday. The days seemed to pass by quickly during the holiday. Plan ahead. Plan ahead. Meaning, to make arrangements or preparations for the future. To make arrangements or preparations for the future. It's essential to plan ahead for a successful event. It's essential to plan ahead for a successful event. Carry on. Carry on. Meaning, to continue or proceed. To continue or proceed. Despite the challenges, we decided to carry on with the project. Despite the challenges, we decided to carry on with the project. Count down. Count down. Meaning, to decrease or reduce gradually, often used for time. To decrease or reduce gradually, often used for time. The clock will count down the final seconds of the year. The clock will count down the final seconds of the year. Look back. Look back. Meaning, to reflect on or reminisce about the past. To reflect on or reminisce about the past. As we look back on the year, there were many accomplishments. As we look back on the year, there were many accomplishments. Turn back. Turn back. Meaning, to reverse or go back in time. To reverse or go back in time. We can't turn back the clock. We need to move forward. We can't turn back the clock. We need to move forward. Work through. Work through. Meaning, to deal with or solve a problem systematically. To deal with or solve a problem systematically. Let's work through the issues one by one. Let's work through the issues one by one. Hold back. Hold back. Meaning, to refrain from doing something. To refrain from doing something. Don't hold back your opinions. We value your input. Don't hold back your opinions. We value your input. Break into. Break into. Meaning, to start a new activity, often suddenly. To start a new activity, often suddenly. She decided to break into the music industry with her first album. She decided to break into the music industry with her first album. Stay up. Stay up. Meaning, to remain awake beyond the usual bedtime. To remain awake beyond the usual bedtime. I need to stay up late tonight to finish the report before the deadline. I need to stay up late tonight to finish the report before the deadline. Clock in. Clock in. Meaning, to record the time you arrive at work on a special machine. To record the time you arrive at work on a special machine. What time did you clock in this morning? What time did you clock in this morning? Fit in. Fit in. Meaning, to find time to do or deal with something or someone. To find time to do or deal with something or someone. I'll see if I can fit in a quick workout before my afternoon meetings. I'll see if I can fit in a quick workout before my afternoon meetings. Get together. Get together. Meaning, if two or more people get together, they meet each other, having arranged it before. If two or more people get together, they meet each other, having arranged it before. Shall we get together on Friday and go for a drink or something? Shall we get together on Friday and go for a drink or something? Run over. Run over. Meaning, to continue after the expected finishing time. To continue after the expected finishing time. We're starting to run over time, so could you keep your speeches short, please? We're starting to run over time, so could you keep your speeches short, please? I feel ecstatic about the news. I feel ecstatic about the news. I'm really disappointed with the outcome. I'm really disappointed with the outcome. I'm over the moon with excitement. I'm over the moon with excitement. I'm deeply saddened by the events. I'm deeply saddened by the events. I'm thrilled to be a part of this. I'm thrilled to be a part of this. In my opinion, this project is worth pursuing. In my opinion, this project is worth pursuing. I believe that we can achieve our goals. I believe that we can achieve our goals. From my perspective, this approach is the best. From my perspective, this approach is the best. I feel strongly that we should take action now. I feel strongly that we should take action now. It seems to me that this plan has potential. It seems to me that this plan has potential. I completely agree with your assessment. I completely agree with your assessment. I couldn't agree more with your statement. I couldn't agree more with your statement. That's a valid point you made earlier. That's a valid point you made earlier. I beg to differ with your conclusion. I beg to differ with your conclusion. I respectfully disagree with your suggestion. I respectfully disagree with your suggestion. Could you clarify that last point? Could you clarify that last point? What do you mean by immediate action? What do you mean by immediate action? Can you elaborate on the benefits of this plan? Can you elaborate on the benefits of this plan? I'm not sure I understand your proposal. I'm not sure I understand your proposal. Could you explain that in more detail, please? Could you explain that in more detail, please? Could you please send me the report? Could you please send me the report? Would you mind helping me with this task? Would you mind helping me with this task? I would appreciate it if you could review this document. I would appreciate it if you could review this document. Could I ask you to join the meeting tomorrow? Could I ask you to join the meeting tomorrow? Would it be possible to extend the deadline? Would it be possible to extend the deadline? How can I assist you with this project? How can I assist you with this project? Is there anything I can do to help you? Is there anything I can do to help you? Let me know if you need anything else. Let me know if you need anything else. I'm here to help with any issues you have. I'm here to help with any issues you have. If you need any assistance, just ask. If you need any assistance, just ask. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate your hard work. I really appreciate your hard work. I'm very grateful for your assistance. I'm very grateful for your assistance. Thanks a million for the help. Thanks a million for the help. I can't thank you enough for your kindness. I can't thank you enough for your kindness. I'm sorry for the inconvenience this may have caused. I'm sorry for the inconvenience this may have caused. Please accept my apologies for the delay. Please accept my apologies for the delay. I apologize for any trouble caused by this mistake. I apologize for any trouble caused by this mistake. I'm deeply sorry for my oversight. I'm deeply sorry for my oversight. I take full responsibility for the error. I take full responsibility for the error. You did a great job on the presentation. You did a great job on the presentation. That was impressive work you did. That was impressive work you did. I'm really impressed with your skills. I'm really impressed with your skills. You have a talent for solving problems. You have a talent for solving problems. Well done on completing the project ahead of schedule. Well done on completing the project ahead of schedule. Keep up the good work. You're doing fantastic. Keep up the good work. You're doing fantastic. You're doing amazing. Don't stop now. You're doing amazing. Don't stop now. Don't give up. You're almost there. Don't give up. You're almost there. I believe in you and your abilities. I believe in you and your abilities. You've got this. Keep pushing forward. You've got this. Keep pushing forward. I'm absolutely sure this will work. I'm absolutely sure this will work. Without a doubt, this is the right path. Without a doubt, this is the right path. I'm convinced that we can succeed. I'm convinced that we can succeed. I'm not certain about the outcome. I'm not certain about the outcome. I'm not sure about that decision. I'm not sure about that decision. How about we try a different approach? How about we try a different approach? Why don't we discuss this further? Why don't we discuss this further? I suggest that we start the project now. I suggest that we start the project now. It might be a good idea to gather more data. It might be a good idea to gather more data. Have you considered asking for feedback? Have you considered asking for feedback? I regret that we couldn't meet the deadline. I regret that we couldn't meet the deadline. I wish I could have helped you more. I wish I could have helped you more. If only I had known earlier. If only I had known earlier. I should have been more careful. I should have been more careful. I'm sorry that things turned out this way. I'm sorry that things turned out this way. You should try to stay focused on your goals. You should try to stay focused on your goals. My advice would be to prepare in advance. My advice would be to prepare in advance. It might help to break the task into smaller parts. It might help to break the task into smaller parts. If I were you, I would talk to a mentor. If I were you, I would talk to a mentor. Have you thought about taking a short break? Have you thought about taking a short break? Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. That's right. I completely agree. That's right. I completely agree. Absolutely. You're spot on. Absolutely. You're spot on. I think so too. We should proceed. I think so too. We should proceed. We're on the same page about this. We're on the same page about this. I don't think so. We need more information. I don't think so. We need more information. I'm not sure about that. Let's reconsider. I'm not sure about that. Let's reconsider. That's not how I see it. There are other factors. That's not how I see it. There are other factors. I see things differently. Let's discuss further. I see things differently. Let's discuss further. We have different opinions on this matter. We have different opinions on this matter. I've decided to accept the offer. I've decided to accept the offer. I'm going to start the project next week. I'm going to start the project next week. I've made up my mind to pursue this opportunity. I've made up my mind to pursue this opportunity. After careful consideration, I've chosen this path. After careful consideration, I've chosen this path. I've come to the conclusion that we should expand. I've come to the conclusion that we should expand. Personally, I think this is the best option. Personally, I think this is the best option. As far as I'm concerned, this plan is viable. As far as I'm concerned, this plan is viable. If you ask me, we should invest more resources. If you ask me, we should invest more resources. In my view, this strategy will succeed. In my view, this strategy will succeed. To my mind, collaboration is key. To my mind, collaboration is key. What do you think about this proposal? What do you think about this proposal? How do you feel about the new policy? How do you feel about the new policy? What's your opinion on the latest update? What's your opinion on the latest update? Do you agree with the suggested changes? Do you agree with the suggested changes? What's your take on the current situation? What's your take on the current situation? It was nice talking to you. Have a great day. It was nice talking to you. Have a great day. Let's catch up again soon and discuss further. Let's catch up again soon and discuss further. Take care and stay safe. Take care and stay safe. Have a great day and see you soon. Have a great day and see you soon. Until next time, take care. Until next time, take care. Circumstance. Circumstance. Meaning, a condition or fact affecting a situation. A condition or fact affecting a situation. Given the circumstance, I had to work from home today instead of going to the office. Given the circumstance, I had to work from home today instead of going to the office. Momentarily. Momentarily. Meaning, for a very short period of time, briefly. For a very short period of time, briefly. The power went out momentarily during the storm. The power went out momentarily during the storm. Encouraging. Encouraging. Meaning, giving someone support or confidence. Supportive. Giving someone support or confidence. Supportive. Her encouraging words helped him overcome his fears. Her encouraging words helped him overcome his fears. Inappropriate. Inappropriate. Meaning, not suitable or proper in the circumstances. Not suitable or proper in the circumstances. His behaviour was deemed inappropriate for the workplace. His behaviour was deemed inappropriate for the workplace. Spontaneous. Spontaneous. Meaning, performed or occurring as a result of a sudden inner impulse or inclination and without premeditation. Performed or occurring as a result of a sudden inner impulse or inclination and without premeditation. Their decision to take a road trip was completely spontaneous. Their decision to take a road trip was completely spontaneous. Accumulation. Accumulation. Meaning, the acquisition or gradual gathering of something. The acquisition or gradual gathering of something. The accumulation of dust on the shelves was noticeable. The accumulation of dust on the shelves was noticeable. Continuously. Continuously. Meaning, without interruption, constantly. Without interruption, constantly. The river flows continuously through the valley. The river flows continuously through the valley. Responsibility. Responsibility. Meaning, the state or fact of having a duty to deal with something or of having control over someone. The state or fact of having a duty to deal with something or of having control over someone. It is her responsibility to make sure the project is completed on time. It is her responsibility to make sure the project is completed on time. Imagination. Imagination. Meaning, the faculty or action of forming new ideas or images or concepts of external objects not present to the senses. The faculty or action of forming new ideas or images or concepts of external objects not present to the senses. Children's imagination often leads to creative play. Children's imagination often leads to creative play. Measurement. Measurement. Meaning: the size, length, or amount of something as established by measuring. The size, length, or amount of something as established by measuring. Accurate measurement of ingredients is crucial in baking. Accurate measurement of ingredients is crucial in baking. Recommendation. Recommendation. Meaning: a suggestion or proposal as to the best course of action. A suggestion or proposal as to the best course of action. She gave a strong recommendation for the new restaurant in town. She gave a strong recommendation for the new restaurant in town. Affectionate. Affectionate. Meaning: readily feeling or showing fondness or tenderness. Readily feeling or showing fondness or tenderness. The puppy was very affectionate, always seeking cuddles. The puppy was very affectionate, always seeking cuddles. Requirement. Requirement. Meaning: a thing that is needed or wanted. A thing that is needed or wanted. Passing a medical exam is a requirement for the job. Passing a medical exam is a requirement for the job. Contribution. Contribution. Meaning: a gift or payment to a common fund or collection. A gift or payment to a common fund or collection. Each member of the team made a significant contribution to the project. Each member of the team made a significant contribution to the project. Significantly. Significantly. Meaning: in a sufficiently great or important way as to be worthy of attention. In a sufficiently great or important way as to be worthy of attention. Her grades improved significantly after she started studying daily. Her grades improved significantly after she started studying daily. Documentation. Documentation. Meaning: material that provides official information or evidence, or that serves as a record. Material that provides official information or evidence, or that serves as a record. Proper documentation is required to process the visa application. Proper documentation is required to process the visa application. Appreciation. Appreciation. Meaning: recognition and enjoyment of the good qualities of someone or something. Recognition and enjoyment of the good qualities of someone or something. She showed her appreciation for his help by baking him cookies. She showed her appreciation for his help by baking him cookies. Superficial. Superficial. Meaning: existing or occurring at or on the surface. Existing or occurring at or on the surface. She gave the report a superficial glance and missed the important details. She gave the report a superficial glance and missed the important details. Functionality. Functionality. Meaning, the quality of being suited to serve a purpose well. Practicality. The quality of being suited to serve a purpose well. Practicality. The new software's functionality impressed all the users. The new software's functionality impressed all the users. Maintenance. Maintenance. Meaning, the process of preserving a condition or situation or the state of being preserved. The process of preserving a condition or situation or the state of being preserved. Regular maintenance of the car keeps it running smoothly. Regular maintenance of the car keeps it running smoothly. Suggestion. Suggestion. Meaning, an idea or plan put forward for consideration. An idea or plan put forward for consideration. She made a suggestion to improve the workflow in the office. She made a suggestion to improve the workflow in the office. Discovered. Discovered. Meaning, found unexpectedly or during a search. Found unexpectedly or during a search. They discovered a hidden treasure in the old house. They discovered a hidden treasure in the old house. Excitement. Excitement. Meaning, a feeling of great enthusiasm and eagerness. A feeling of great enthusiasm and eagerness. The excitement was palpable as the concert began. The excitement was palpable as the concert began. Mainstream. Mainstream. Meaning, the ideas, attitudes, or activities that are regarded as normal or conventional. The dominant trend in opinion, fashion, or the arts. The ideas, attitudes, or activities that are regarded as normal or conventional. The dominant trend in opinion, fashion, or the arts. His music has moved from underground to mainstream. His music has moved from underground to mainstream. Benchmark. Benchmark. Meaning, a standard or point of reference against which things may be compared or assessed. A standard or point of reference against which things may be compared or assessed. The new model sets a benchmark for fuel efficiency. The new model sets a benchmark for fuel efficiency. Challenging. Challenging. Meaning, testing one's abilities. Demanding. Testing one's abilities. Demanding. The course was challenging, but she enjoyed the hard work. The course was challenging, but she enjoyed the hard work. Professional. Professional. Meaning, relating to or connected with a profession. Relating to or connected with a profession. She maintained a professional demeanour during the meeting. She maintained a professional demeanour during the meeting. Substantial. Substantial, meaning of considerable importance, size, or worth. Of considerable importance, size, or worth. They made a substantial donation to the charity. They made a substantial donation to the charity. Expectation, expectation, meaning a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. A strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. The team's high expectation for the season motivated them to train harder. The team's high expectation for the season motivated them to train harder. Deliberately, deliberately, meaning consciously and intentionally, on purpose. Consciously and intentionally, on purpose. He deliberately ignored the warning signs. He deliberately ignored the warning signs. Traditional, traditional, meaning existing in or as part of a tradition, long established. Existing in or as part of a tradition, long established. They wore traditional clothing for the ceremony. They wore traditional clothing for the ceremony. Contemporary, contemporary, meaning living or occurring at the same time, belonging to or occurring in the present. Living or occurring at the same time, belonging to or occurring in the present. The gallery features contemporary art from local artists. The gallery features contemporary art from local artists. Presentation, presentation, meaning the manner or style in which something is given, offered, or displayed. The manner or style in which something is given, offered, or displayed. Her presentation on climate change was very informative. Her presentation on climate change was very informative. Captivated, captivated, meaning attract and hold the interest and attention of. Charm. Attract and hold the interest and attention of. Charm. The audience was captivated by the magician's performance. The audience was captivated by the magician's performance. Pleasantly, pleasantly, meaning in an enjoyable or agreeable manner. In an enjoyable or agreeable manner. She was pleasantly surprised by the quality of the food. She was pleasantly surprised by the quality of the food. Comforting, comforting, meaning serving to alleviate a person's feelings of grief or distress. Serving to alleviate a person's feelings of grief or distress. His comforting words helped her through the tough times. His comforting words helped her through the tough times. Appointment, appointment, meaning an arrangement to meet someone at a particular time and place. An arrangement to meet someone at a particular time and place. She scheduled an appointment with her doctor. She scheduled an appointment with her doctor. Respecting, respecting, meaning showing regard or consideration for, showing regard or consideration for. Respecting others' opinions is important in a healthy discussion. Respecting others' opinions is important in a healthy discussion. Complicated, complicated, meaning consisting of many interconnecting parts or elements. Intricate, consisting of many interconnecting parts or elements. Intricate. The instructions were so complicated that she had to call for help. The instructions were so complicated that she had to call for help. Thoughtful, thoughtful, meaning showing consideration for the needs of other people. Showing consideration for the needs of other people. He brought her favourite coffee as a thoughtful gesture. He brought her favourite coffee as a thoughtful gesture. Attempting, attempting, meaning making an effort to achieve or complete something. Making an effort to achieve or complete something. He is attempting to break the world record for fastest marathon. He is attempting to break the world record for fastest marathon. Controversial, controversial, meaning giving rise or likely to give rise to public disagreement. Giving rise or likely to give rise to public disagreement. The decision to close the park was highly controversial. The decision to close the park was highly controversial. Knowledgeable, knowledgeable, meaning intelligent and well informed. Intelligent and well informed. The guide was very knowledgeable about the history of the city. The guide was very knowledgeable about the history of the city. Underestimate, underestimate, meaning regard someone or something as less capable or important than they really are. Regard someone or something as less capable or important than they really are. Don't underestimate her. She's very talented. Don't underestimate her. She's very talented. Notification, notification, meaning the action of notifying someone or something. The action of notifying someone or something. She received a notification about the upcoming meeting. She received a notification about the upcoming meeting. Availability, availability, meaning the quality of being able to be used or obtained. The quality of being able to be used or obtained. Check the availability of rooms before making a reservation. Check the availability of rooms before making a reservation. Development, development, meaning the process of developing or being developed. The process of developing or being developed. The rapid development of the city has transformed it entirely. The rapid development of the city has transformed it entirely. Assessment, assessment, meaning the evaluation or estimation of the nature, quality or ability of someone or something. The evaluation or estimation of the nature, quality, or ability of someone or something. The assessment of the project will determine its future. The assessment of the project will determine its future. Observation. Observation. Meaning, the action or process of observing something or someone in order to gain information. The action or process of observing something or someone in order to gain information. His observation skills made him an excellent detective. His observation skills made him an excellent detective. Consequently. Consequently. Meaning, as a result. As a result. She missed the bus and consequently was late for work. She missed the bus and consequently was late for work. Strenuously. Strenuously. Meaning, in a way that requires great physical exertion. In a way that requires great physical exertion. She strenuously completed her workout, pushing through the exhaustion. She strenuously completed her workout, pushing through the exhaustion. Contradiction. Contradiction. Meaning, a combination of statements, ideas, or features which are opposed to one another. A combination of statements, ideas, or features which are opposed to one another. There is a clear contradiction between his words and actions. There is a clear contradiction between his words and actions. Magnificent. Magnificent. Meaning, impressively beautiful, elaborate, or extravagant. Striking. Impressively beautiful, elaborate, or extravagant. Striking. The view from the top of the mountain was absolutely magnificent. The view from the top of the mountain was absolutely magnificent. Vulnerable. Vulnerable. Meaning, susceptible to physical or emotional attack or harm. Susceptible to physical or emotional attack or harm. The village was vulnerable to flooding during heavy rains. The village was vulnerable to flooding during heavy rains. Guarantee. Guarantee. Meaning, a formal promise or assurance that certain conditions will be fulfilled. A formal promise or assurance that certain conditions will be fulfilled. The warranty provides a guarantee against defects. The warranty provides a guarantee against defects. Ambiguous. Ambiguous. Meaning, open to more than one interpretation, not having one obvious meaning. Open to more than one interpretation, not having one obvious meaning. The instructions were ambiguous and caused a lot of confusion. The instructions were ambiguous and caused a lot of confusion. Distinctive. Distinctive. Meaning, characteristic of one person or thing, and so serving to distinguish it from others. Characteristic of one person or thing, and so serving to distinguish it from others. The artist has a distinctive style that sets her apart from others. The artist has a distinctive style that sets her apart from others. Set up. Set up. Meaning, to create or arrange something, often a business or system. To create or arrange something, often a business or system. They set up a meeting to discuss the new project's timeline. They set up a meeting to discuss the new project's timeline. Scale down. Scale down. Meaning, to reduce the size or operations of a business. To reduce the size or operations of a business. Due to financial difficulties, the company had to scale down its workforce. Due to financial difficulties, the company had to scale down its workforce. Scale up. Scale up. Meaning, to increase the size or operations of a business. To increase the size or operations of a business. The successful product launch allowed them to scale up production. The successful product launch allowed them to scale up production. Branch out. Branch out. Meaning, to diversify or expand into new markets or products. The company decided to branch out into international markets to increase revenue. The company decided to branch out into international markets to increase revenue. Phase out. Phase out. Meaning, to gradually discontinue a product, service, or operation. To gradually discontinue a product, service, or operation. They decided to phase out their old software and focus on the new version. They decided to phase out their old software and focus on the new version. Cash in. Cash in. Meaning, to profit from an opportunity or asset. To profit from an opportunity or asset. It's a good time to cash in your investments while the market is favourable. It's a good time to cash in your investments while the market is favourable. Lay off. Lay off. Meaning, to terminate employees due to downsizing or budget constraints. To terminate employees due to downsizing or budget constraints. The company had to lay off several employees to cut costs. The company had to lay off several employees to cut costs. Take on. Take on. Meaning, to hire or accept responsibility for a task or project. To hire or accept responsibility for a task or project. We need to take on additional staff during the busy season. We need to take on additional staff during the busy season. Roll out. Roll out. Meaning, to introduce a new product, service, or initiative. To introduce a new product, service, or initiative. The company plans to roll out its latest software update next month. The company plans to roll out its latest software update next month. Buy out. Buy out. Meaning to purchase the entire ownership or controlling interest of a business. To purchase the entire ownership or controlling interest of a business. He's hoping to buy out the other shareholders and take full control of the company. He's hoping to buy out the other shareholders and take full control of the company. Sell off. Sell off. Meaning to dispose of assets or inventory, often at a reduced price. To dispose of assets or inventory, often at a reduced price. To raise capital, they had to sell off some of their excess inventory. To raise capital, they had to sell off some of their excess inventory. Cut back. Cut back. Meaning to reduce expenses or operations. To reduce expenses or operations. The company had to cut back on expenses to stay profitable. The company had to cut back on expenses to stay profitable. Team up. Team up. Meaning to collaborate or work together with another individual or company. To collaborate or work together with another individual or company. They decided to team up with a marketing agency to expand their reach. They decided to team up with a marketing agency to expand their reach. Call off. Call off. Meaning to cancel a planned event, meeting, or project. To cancel a planned event, meeting, or project. Due to unforeseen circumstances, they had to call off the conference. Due to unforeseen circumstances, they had to call off the conference. Back down. Back down. Meaning to withdraw from a position or decision in response to pressure. To withdraw from a position or decision in response to pressure. After negotiations, they decided to back down from their initial pricing. After negotiations, they decided to back down from their initial pricing. Drive up. Drive up. Meaning to increase the demand, price, or value of something. To increase the demand, price, or value of something. Strong marketing efforts can drive up consumer interest in a product. Strong marketing efforts can drive up consumer interest in a product. Phase in. Phase in. Meaning to gradually introduce something over time. To gradually introduce something over time. They plan to phase in the new software features in several updates. They plan to phase in the new software features in several updates. Write off. Write off. Meaning To consider something as a loss or expense. To consider something as a loss or expense. They had to write off the damaged inventory as a loss on their financial statements. They had to write off the damaged inventory as a loss on their financial statements. Hand over. Hand over. Meaning, to transfer responsibility, control, or authority to someone else. To transfer responsibility, control, or authority to someone else. The department decided to hand over control of the project to a more experienced team. The department decided to hand over control of the project to a more experienced team. Sell out. Sell out. Meaning, to exhaust the supply of a product or service. To exhaust the supply of a product or service. The bakery's fresh pastries tend to sell out by mid-morning. The bakery's fresh pastries tend to sell out by mid-morning. Ramp up. Ramp up. Meaning, to increase production or effort quickly. To increase production or effort quickly. They needed to ramp up production to meet the surge in demand. They needed to ramp up production to meet the surge in demand. Buy into. Buy into. Meaning, to invest in or accept a concept, idea, or company. To invest in or accept a concept, idea, or company. It's important for employees to buy into the company's mission and values. It's important for employees to buy into the company's mission and values. Take over. Take over. Meaning, to acquire control or leadership of a company. To acquire control or leadership of a company. He plans to take over the family business when his father retires. He plans to take over the family business when his father retires. Check out. Check out. Meaning, to investigate or examine a situation or opportunity. To investigate or examine a situation or opportunity. Before investing, it's essential to check out the market trends. Before investing, it's essential to check out the market trends. Hand in. Hand in. Meaning, to submit something, often paperwork or documents. To submit something, often paperwork or documents. Please hand in your expense reports by the end of the month. Please hand in your expense reports by the end of the month. Roll back. Roll back. Meaning, to reduce or reverse changes or decisions. To reduce or reverse changes or decisions. The company decided to roll back the recent price increases. The company decided to roll back the recent price increases. Hold off. Hold off. meaning to delay or postpone something. To delay or postpone something. They had to hold off on the product launch due to manufacturing issues. They had to hold off on the product launch due to manufacturing issues. Pass on. Pass on. Meaning to decline an opportunity or offer. To decline an opportunity or offer. She decided to pass on the job offer because of the long commute. She decided to pass on the job offer because of the long commute. Face up to. Face up to. Meaning to confront or deal with a difficult situation or problem. To confront or deal with a difficult situation or problem. The CEO had to face up to the company's financial challenges. The CEO had to face up to the company's financial challenges. Sell up. Sell up. Meaning to sell one's business or assets. To sell one's business or assets. After years of running the restaurant, they decided to sell up and retire. After years of running the restaurant, they decided to sell up and retire. Shut down. Shut down. Meaning to cease operations temporarily or permanently. To cease operations temporarily or permanently. The factory had to shut down for maintenance and upgrades. The factory had to shut down for maintenance and upgrades. Push through. Push through. Meaning to overcome obstacles or opposition to achieve a goal. To overcome obstacles or opposition to achieve a goal. Despite resistance, they managed to push through the new policy. Despite resistance, they managed to push through the new policy. Hold out. Hold out. Meaning to resist or endure pressure, often in negotiations. To resist or endure pressure, often in negotiations. The company decided to hold out for a better acquisition offer before selling. The company decided to hold out for a better acquisition offer before selling. Write up. Write up. Meaning to create a formal document or report. To create a formal document or report. The marketing team will write up a detailed campaign analysis. The marketing team will write up a detailed campaign analysis. Weigh in. Weigh in. Meaning to offer one's opinion or input on a matter. To offer one's opinion or input on a matter. They asked all team members to weigh in on the decision-making process. They asked all team members to weigh in on the decision-making process. I like to read books before bed. I like to read books before bed. I like travelling to new countries. I like travelling to new countries. I like cooking Italian food for my friends. I like cooking Italian food for my friends. I like listening to classical music on weekends. I like listening to classical music on weekends. I like hiking in the mountains during summer. I like hiking in the mountains during summer. I like painting landscapes in my free time. I like painting landscapes in my free time. I like watching documentaries about history. I like watching documentaries about history. I like spending time with my family on holidays. I like spending time with my family on holidays. I like learning new languages as a hobby. I like learning new languages as a hobby. I like gardening and growing my own vegetables. I like gardening and growing my own vegetables. I like playing chess with my grandfather. I like playing chess with my grandfather. I like swimming at the local pool. I like swimming at the local pool. I like practicing yoga in the morning. I like practicing yoga in the morning. I like trying out new recipes for dinner. I like trying out new recipes for dinner. I like visiting museums on rainy days. I like visiting museums on rainy days. I like watching the sunset from the beach. I like watching the sunset from the beach. I like attending live music concerts. I like attending live music concerts. I like writing in my diary every evening. I like writing in my diary every evening. I like going to the gym and staying fit. I like going to the gym and staying fit. I like taking long walks in the park. I like taking long walks in the park. I like making handmade crafts for gifts. I like making handmade crafts for gifts. I like exploring new cafes in the city. I like exploring new cafes in the city. I like reading mystery novels. I like reading mystery novels. I like doing puzzles to challenge my mind. I like doing puzzles to challenge my mind. I like baking cookies and sharing them with friends. I like baking cookies and sharing them with friends. I like watching classic films on weekends. I like watching classic films on weekends. I like visiting botanical gardens in spring. I like visiting botanical gardens in spring. I like playing the guitar in my spare time. I like playing the guitar in my spare time. I like attending art exhibitions and galleries. I like attending art exhibitions and galleries. I like trying out different cuisines at restaurants. I like trying out different cuisines at restaurants. I like taking photos of nature during hikes. I like taking photos of nature during hikes. I like doing volunteer work in my community. I like doing volunteer work in my community. I like playing board games with my family. I like playing board games with my family. I like watching science fiction movies. I like watching science fiction movies. I like learning about astronomy and stargazing. I like learning about astronomy and stargazing. I like attending yoga retreats for relaxation. I like attending yoga retreats for relaxation. I like collecting stamps from different countries. I like collecting stamps from different countries. I like making smoothies with fresh fruit. I like making smoothies with fresh fruit. I like visiting historical landmarks on holiday. I like visiting historical landmarks on holiday. I like decorating my home for the holidays. I like decorating my home for the holidays. I like exploring new hiking trails. I like exploring new hiking trails. I like participating in local theatre productions. I like participating in local theatre productions. I like learning new dance styles. I like learning new dance styles. I like organising my photos into albums. I like organising my photos into albums. I like spending time at the lake in summer. I like spending time at the lake in summer. I like reading poetry by contemporary poets. I like reading poetry by contemporary poets. I like playing video games with friends online. I like playing video games with friends online. I like attending cooking classes to improve my skills. I like attending cooking classes to improve my skills. I like going on bike rides around the neighbourhood. I like going on bike rides around the neighbourhood. I like visiting local markets for fresh produce. I like visiting local markets for fresh produce. I don't like eating spicy food. I don't like eating spicy food. I don't like watching horror movies before bed. I don't like watching horror movies before bed. I don't like waking up early on weekends. I don't like waking up early on weekends. I don't like driving in heavy traffic. I don't like driving in heavy traffic. I don't like doing the dishes after dinner. I don't like doing the dishes after dinner. I don't like getting caught in the rain without an umbrella. I don't like getting caught in the rain without an umbrella. I don't like loud music in public places. I don't like loud music in public places. I don't like waiting in long lines at the shop. I don't like waiting in long lines at the shop. I don't like working on weekends if I can avoid it. I don't like working on weekends if I can avoid it. I don't like pets jumping on the furniture. I don't like pets jumping on the furniture. I don't like eating seafood because of the taste. I don't like eating seafood because of the taste. I don't like the feeling of sand sticking to my skin. I don't like the feeling of sand sticking to my skin. I don't like watching reality TV shows. I don't like watching reality TV shows. I don't like talking on the phone for long periods. I don't like talking on the phone for long periods. I don't like being late for appointments. I don't like being late for appointments. I don't like dealing with unexpected changes in plans. I don't like dealing with unexpected changes in plans. I don't like the smell of strong perfumes. I don't like the smell of strong perfumes. I don't like getting my hands dirty when gardening. I don't like getting my hands dirty when gardening. I don't like driving on winding mountain roads. I don't like driving on winding mountain roads. I don't like reading books with unhappy endings. I don't like reading books with unhappy endings. I don't like noisy neighbours at night. I don't like noisy neighbours at night. I don't like eating food that's too sweet. I don't like eating food that's too sweet. I don't like playing competitive sports. I don't like playing competitive sports. I don't like having too many commitments at once. I don't like having too many commitments at once. I don't like crowded places during the holidays. I don't like crowded places during the holidays. I don't like using public toilets. I don't like using public toilets. I don't like watching sports on TV. I don't like watching sports on TV. I don't like taking long flights without entertainment. I don't like taking long flights without entertainment. I don't like staying up late working on projects. I don't like staying up late working on projects. I don't like buying clothes in large shopping centres. I don't like buying clothes in large shopping centres. I don't like being the centre of attention at parties. I don't like being the centre of attention at parties. I don't like reading self-help books. I don't like reading self-help books. I don't like watching movies with excessive violence. I don't like watching movies with excessive violence. I don't like using technology that's too complicated. I don't like using technology that's too complicated. I don't like staying in noisy hotels. I don't like staying in noisy hotels. I don't like eating foods with lots of artificial ingredients. I don't like eating foods with lots of artificial ingredients. I don't like the taste of coffee without sugar. I don't like the taste of coffee without sugar. I don't like being asked personal questions by strangers. I don't like being asked personal questions by strangers. I don't like exercising in the heat. I don't like exercising in the heat. I don't like having too many people in my workspace. I don't like having too many people in my workspace. I don't like waiting for long periods at the doctor's office. I don't like waiting for long periods at the doctor's office. I don't like the sight of blood. I don't like the sight of blood. I don't like taking calls during dinner. I don't like taking calls during dinner. I don't like eating food that's overcooked. I don't like eating food that's overcooked. I don't like having a cluttered living space. I don't like having a cluttered living space. I don't like going to crowded music festivals. I don't like going to crowded music festivals. I don't like the feeling of being unprepared for meetings. I don't like the feeling of being unprepared for meetings. I don't like talking about politics at family gatherings. I don't like talking about politics at family gatherings. I don't like spending too much time on social media. I don't like spending too much time on social media. I don't like handling paperwork for lengthy processes. I don't like handling paperwork for lengthy processes. Has to is used to show that something is necessary or required for he, she, it, or singular nouns. Structure. Affirmative. Subject plus has to plus base form of the verb. Example: she has to study. Here are 50 example sentences using has to. She has to finish her homework before dinner. She has to finish her homework before dinner. He has to attend the meeting at 10 a.m. He has to attend the meeting at 10 a.m. The car has to be repaired soon. The car has to be repaired soon. The baby has to be fed every 3 hours. The baby has to be fed every 3 hours. She has to call her parents tonight. She has to call her parents tonight. The team has to practice more to win the championship. The team has to practice more to win the championship. The cake has to bake for 30 minutes. The cake has to bake for 30 minutes. He has to wear a suit to the wedding. He has to wear a suit to the wedding. The teacher has to grade the exams by Friday. The teacher has to grade the exams by Friday. She has to clean her room before she can go out. She has to clean her room before she can go out. The dog has to go to the vet for a checkup. The dog has to go to the vet for a checkup. He has to submit the report by the end of the day. He has to submit the report by the end of the day. The movie has to start on time. The movie has to start on time. She has to visit the dentist next week. She has to visit the dentist next week. The project has to be completed by the deadline. The project has to be completed by the deadline. He has to learn to drive a car. He has to learn to drive a car. The book has to be returned to the library. The book has to be returned to the library. She has to attend the conference in London. She has to attend the conference in London. The athlete has to train every day. The athlete has to train every day. He has to pick up his sister from school. He has to pick up his sister from school. The plane has to land before the storm arrives. The plane has to land before the storm arrives. She has to apologize for her mistake. She has to apologize for her mistake. The computer has to be updated. The computer has to be updated. He has to attend his best friend's wedding. He has to attend his best friend's wedding. The lawn has to be mowed regularly. The lawn has to be mowed regularly. She has to wake up early tomorrow. She has to wake up early tomorrow. The house has to be cleaned before the guests arrive. The house has to be cleaned before the guests arrive. He has to buy groceries for the week. He has to buy groceries for the week. She has to check her emails every morning. She has to check her emails every morning. The package has to be delivered by noon. The package has to be delivered by noon. He has to complete his training by next month. He has to complete his training by next month. The restaurant has to follow health regulations. The restaurant has to follow health regulations. She has to get her driver's license renewed. She has to get her driver's license renewed. He has to learn a new language for his job. He has to learn a new language for his job. The building has to comply with safety standards. The building has to comply with safety standards. She has to finish the book for her literature class. She has to finish the book for her literature class. The school has to implement a new curriculum. The school has to implement a new curriculum. He has to pay his bills on time. He has to pay his bills on time. The cat has to be given its medicine. The cat has to be given its medicine. She has to take her car for a service. She has to take her car for a service. The musician has to rehearse for the concert. The musician has to rehearse for the concert. He has to memorize his lines for the play. He has to memorize his lines for the play. The software has to be installed on the computer. The software has to be installed on the computer. She has to find a new apartment before the lease ends. She has to find a new apartment before the lease ends. The shop has to open at 9 a.m. sharp. The shop has to open at 9 a.m. sharp. He has to repair the broken fence. He has to repair the broken fence. The doctor has to see all his patients today. The doctor has to see all his patients today. She has to attend the workshop to improve her skills. She has to attend the workshop to improve her skills. The scientist has to conduct experiments to prove the hypothesis. The scientist has to conduct experiments to prove the hypothesis. She has to travel abroad for her new job. She has to travel abroad for her new job. Have to is used to show that something is necessary or required. It indicates obligation or necessity for first person singular and plural subjects, I, we, second person singular and plural subjects, you, and third person plural subjects, they. Structure. Affirmative. Subject plus have to plus base form of the verb. Example: I have to study. Here are 50 example sentences using have to. I have to wake up early tomorrow. I have to wake up early tomorrow. You have to finish your project by Monday. You have to finish your project by Monday. We have to be at the airport by 6 a.m. We have to be at the airport by 6 a.m. They have to complete the assignment by Friday. They have to complete the assignment by Friday. I have to attend a meeting this afternoon. I have to attend a meeting this afternoon. You have to wear a uniform to school. You have to wear a uniform to school. We have to submit our taxes by the end of the month. We have to submit our taxes by the end of the month. They have to clean their room every weekend. They have to clean their room every weekend. I have to call the doctor for an appointment. I have to call the doctor for an appointment. You have to take the dog for a walk. You have to take the dog for a walk. We have to leave the house by 8 a.m. We have to leave the house by 8 a.m. They have to bring their own lunch to the picnic. They have to bring their own lunch to the picnic. I have to pick up groceries after work. I have to pick up groceries after work. You have to read this book for your class. You have to read this book for your class. We have to organize the event. We have to organize the event. They have to learn a new software program. They have to learn a new software program. You have to finish your homework before playing. You have to finish your homework before playing. We have to replace the old furniture. We have to replace the old furniture. They have to renew their car insurance. They have to renew their car insurance. I have to send an email to my boss. I have to send an email to my boss. You have to pay the electricity bill. You have to pay the electricity bill. We have to fix the broken window. We have to fix the broken window. They have to arrive on time for the concert. They have to arrive on time for the concert. I have to learn how to cook. I have to learn how to cook. You have to exercise regularly for good health. You have to exercise regularly for good health. We have to plant the garden in the spring. We have to plant the garden in the spring. They have to complete their training. They have to complete their training. I have to attend a wedding next month. I have to attend a wedding next month. You have to apologize for your behavior. You have to apologize for your behavior. We have to prepare a presentation for the meeting. We have to prepare a presentation for the meeting. They have to take care of their pets. They have to take care of their pets. I have to study for the upcoming exam. I have to study for the upcoming exam. You have to be careful when crossing the street. You have to be careful when crossing the street. We have to write a report on the project. We have to write a report on the project. They have to follow the safety guidelines. They have to follow the safety guidelines. I have to clean the house before guests arrive. I have to clean the house before guests arrive. You have to bring your ID to enter the building. You have to bring your ID to enter the building. We have to save money for our holiday. We have to save money for our holiday. They have to finish painting the house. They have to finish painting the house. I have to call customer service about the issue. I have to call customer service about the issue. You have to pack your bags for the trip. You have to pack your bags for the trip. We have to arrive early for the appointment. We have to arrive early for the appointment. They have to renew their membership. They have to renew their membership. I have to visit the bank today. I have to visit the bank today. You have to make a decision soon. You have to make a decision soon. We have to move to a new apartment. We have to move to a new apartment. They have to buy a new computer. They have to buy a new computer. I have to wash the car this weekend. I have to wash the car this weekend. You have to practice the piano every day. You have to practice the piano every day. I have to visit my family this weekend. I have to visit my family this weekend. Had to is used to indicate that something was necessary or required in the past. It shows past obligation or necessity for all subjects. Structure: affirmative. Subject plus had to plus base form of the verb. Example: I had to study. Here are 50 example sentences using had to. I had to leave the party early because I was feeling unwell. I had to leave the party early because I was feeling unwell. You had to finish the assignment before the deadline. You had to finish the assignment before the deadline. We had to cancel our holiday due to the storm. We had to cancel our holiday due to the storm. They had to buy a new car after their old one broke down. They had to buy a new car after their old one broke down. I had to take a day off work to attend a family event. I had to take a day off work to attend a family event. You had to move to a new city for your job. You had to move to a new city for your job. We had to call a locksmith to get into the house. We had to call a locksmith to get into the house. They had to study late into the night for the exam. They had to study late into the night for the exam. I had to apologize for my mistake at the meeting. I had to apologize for my mistake at the meeting. You had to repair the computer after it crashed. You had to repair the computer after it crashed. We had to wait for the rain to stop before we could leave. We had to wait for the rain to stop before we could leave. They had to get permission from the head teacher for the field trip. They had to get permission from the head teacher for the field trip. I had to take extra classes to improve my grades. I had to take extra classes to improve my grades. You had to return the book to the library by last Friday. You had to return the book to the library by last Friday. We had to hire a professional to fix the plumbing issue. We had to hire a professional to fix the plumbing issue. They had to relocate their office due to the building renovations. They had to relocate their office due to the building renovations. I had to cook dinner because the restaurant was fully booked. I had to cook dinner because the restaurant was fully booked. You had to explain the situation to your parents. You had to explain the situation to your parents. We had to reschedule the meeting because of a conflict. We had to reschedule the meeting because of a conflict. They had to pay a fine for returning the rental car late. They had to pay a fine for returning the rental car late. I had to complete the project before the weekend. I had to complete the project before the weekend. You had to attend a workshop to gain certification. You had to attend a workshop to gain certification. We had to find a new supplier when our old one went out of business. We had to find a new supplier when our old one went out of business. They had to replace the roof after the storm. They had to replace the roof after the storm. I had to deal with a difficult customer last week. I had to deal with a difficult customer last week. You had to submit the report before the end of the month. You had to submit the report before the end of the month. We had to get a medical certificate for the insurance. We had to get a medical certificate for the insurance. They had to organise a last-minute party due to a friend's surprise visit. They had to organise a last-minute party due to a friend's surprise visit. I had to drive my kids to school every morning. I had to drive my kids to school every morning. You had to get your car serviced before the long trip. You had to get your car serviced before the long trip. We had to change our plans because of the sudden weather change. We had to change our plans because of the sudden weather change. They had to follow strict guidelines for the project. They had to follow strict guidelines for the project. I had to stay up all night to finish the presentation. I had to stay up all night to finish the presentation. You had to call the repair service for the broken air conditioner. You had to call the repair service for the broken air conditioner. We had to go through security checks at the airport. We had to go through security checks at the airport. They had to move their meeting online due to technical issues. They had to move their meeting online due to technical issues. I had to replace my phone after I accidentally dropped it. I had to replace my phone after I accidentally dropped it. You had to attend a seminar to meet the course requirements. You had to attend a seminar to meet the course requirements. We had to make a detour because of the road closure. We had to make a detour because of the road closure. They had to attend an urgent team briefing yesterday. They had to attend an urgent team briefing yesterday. I had to drive carefully because of the heavy fog. I had to drive carefully because of the heavy fog. You had to follow the procedures outlined by the company. You had to follow the procedures outlined by the company. We had to clean the house thoroughly before the inspection. We had to clean the house thoroughly before the inspection. They had to finish their work before the office closed for the holiday. They had to finish their work before the office closed for the holiday. I had to take a taxi because my car was in the garage. I had to take a taxi because my car was in the garage. You had to get a new passport for the international trip. You had to get a new passport for the international trip. We had to negotiate a new contract with the supplier. We had to negotiate a new contract with the supplier. They had to take a different route due to a traffic jam. They had to take a different route due to a traffic jam. I had to go to the emergency room after injuring my foot. I had to go to the emergency room after injuring my foot. You had to attend a special training session for the new software. You had to attend a special training session for the new software.